All right, let me discuss question number 4 from your chapter 5 homework. Okay. Um, you have a factory that produces light bulbs. Your old machine is costing a lot of money and in repairs, and you're considering replacing the old machine. All right, so you can actually have two offers. You can sell each light bulb for 40 cents. Discount rate is 12. Corporate tax rate is 40. Right, so you have like two machines that will actually produce the light bulb. One is machine A, one is machine B. The question is asking, given the inputs you have, which machine would you prefer? Okay, so I'm going to actually look at machine A and machine B respectively, but I do realize that there's a part B which says, at what level of production will you change your answer? So we're trying to look at the annual production here. So why don't we just devote one cell to annual production? Okay. And right now, according to the question, the annual production is actually um, 1 million. All right. Okay. So I'm going to just put down $1 million, 1 million units. And now I'm going to look at machine A here. Okay. And the machine A is actually having a 10-year lifespan. All right. So I'm going to have a 10 period timeline. Oops. All right. So this is 10 period timeline here. All right. And I'm going to look at the inputs, from machine A. All right. So machine A, you can actually sell the light bulb for 40 cents. All right. So revenue. Okay. Actually, let me slow down. Let me look at the cost of the machine A. Machine A is actually costing 500,000. Okay. And let's look at revenue. All right. For machine A, every year you're going to get the annual production and oops, what did I do? All right, there was some video from my computer, and every time when I press F4, it's bringing up that. All right, so dollar C dollar four. All right, so that is the annual production multiplied by the price per bulb. That's 40 cents. Okay, so that is your revenue, and you have this revenue for every year. And let's look at the variable cost. The variable cost is actually, so if you have taken Econ 101, there's a fixed cost, there's a variable cost. The variable cost is actually depending on the production you have, right? So this is 12 cents per bulb, okay? So it's going to be this amount here, all right? So dollar C dollar four, okay, times the unit cost, which is 12 cents. So that's the variable cost. Let me copy this across. And let's look at the fixed cost. The fixed cost is fixed. All right. So that's just $100,000. Okay. So let me just copy this across. And now what else do we need to consider? We need to consider depreciation. Okay. Because there's tax here. So the depreciation is straight line depreciation here. So I'm going to look at machine A cost. That's actually 500,000 divided by 10 years. So each year the depreciation is 50,000. Okay. Now I can actually look at the after-tax cash flow. All right. So I'm going to look at every year. So you're getting this revenue here. You take out the variable cost, you take out the fixed cost, and you take out depreciation, and then you can actually pay tax. So I'm going to pay tax here. This is actually 1 minus the tax rate, which is actually 40%. Okay. So the way I do this, I take out depreciation. So now I should put back depreciation, right? So that is your after-tax cash flow for first year, and I can copy this across, right? So I can get the same after-tax cash flow for all the other years. And um, let's look at the MPV for machine A. All right, so this is going to be equal to MPV. The rate is actually the discount rate, which is 12%. Okay, and the values are the after-tax cash flow and put back initial investment. So that's going to be your NPV for machine A. Okay, so that is $223,228, $228. All right. Now let's look at machine B here. Okay, so I'm going to build a timeline. This time I only have 4 years for machine B. So this is projects with different lifespan. All right, so whoops, what did I do? There's an extra thing there. All right, 4 years. And let's look at the cost of machine B. This is costing 200,000. Okay, and let's do the same thing, revenue. All right, so machine B is producing this unit as well. Okay, and this is actually selling for 40 cents. Okay, all right, so that's 400,000. Okay, and I'm going to look at the variable cost. All right, so you're producing this amount here, and each unit is costing 25 cents. This is the old machine, so it is more costly. And I can copy this across. And let's look at the fixed cost. Fixed cost is going to be 75,000. Okay, so this is given in the question. All right, so let's just copy this across. And now let's look at annual depreciation. So this is for machine B, and it's costing 200,000. Okay, and your 4 years. All right, so that's 50,000. And so now I can actually look at after-tax cash flow. So you see that you're always going after tax cash flow if there is tax. So I'm going to look at, this is the revenue, and you incur the variable cost, and you take out the fixed cost, and you take out depreciation. And now I need to put a parenthesis here. And so you're paying tax. So that's going to be 1 minus the 40% tax rate. Okay, and then the way I do it, I need to put back depreciation. So that's 65,000. Okay, copy this across. All right, so I have all this. So now you can actually look at NPV here. So the NPV is going to be equal to NPV, the rate is 12%, and you're taking, you're taking all the future cash flows and you put back initial investment. All right, so this is the NPV for machine B, and NPV is actually negative 2,572. So now you can actually look at the EAC as well, but you already know that, let's look at the EAC for machine A. So that's going to be equal to, all right, payment, the rate is 12%. This is for 10 years, and this is the present value, and the future value is 0. So that's the EAC, it's $39,507. Okay, now let's look at EAC for machine B. So that's going to be the payment of, I'm missing the equal sign here. The rate is 12%, and it's for 4 periods, and present value is this number here, and future value is 0. Okay, so it's 846. But watch out the signs here. This NPV is positive. This NPV is negative. Okay, so apparently you should go for machine A. All right, you're dealing with a very good EAC or a very positive NPV. Okay. All right. So part B is asking, at what level would you change your answer? So you can now look at what do you need to do. Okay. So part B, what level of production will change your answer? Okay. In other words, how do you change your preference between these two machines? Okay. Now, if I want to change this, I'm going to actually, take a guess. All right. So how about we just guess the number? All right. So take the guess. I'm recycling part A now. All right. Take the guess in C4. All right. That was the original input. So I'm going to use that as the guess. All right. So I'm going to calculate the EAC difference. All right. So EAC difference is going to be equal to this EAC minus that EAC. All right. Some of you might be bothered by the sign, but don't be. All right. I'm consistent. Okay, I take the MPV and I use that MPV and I get the EAC. Okay, MPV is positive, so EAC is negative. And I do the same thing. MPV is negative, so EAC is positive. All right, so I get the difference in the EAC. So now I can actually invoke solver. I can actually set the difference in the EAC, which is V33, equal to 0 by changing my guess, which is C4. All right, so let's see whether solver can produce the correct answer here. All right, go to solver, and this is my objective cell. I want to make that 0. I want to do this by changing my guess. So let's click solve. It says I found a solution here. Your annual production should be 482,630.07. So you should do the rounding. All right. And that is the answer you saw from your homework. Okay. So I hope this is useful.